Okay, these are my audience members for speech 3.
Did you know that there are messages purposely hidden in music, movies, TV shows, and ads that are in our everyday life? One might ask, why don't I realize that these messages are hidden around me? The correct response to this message are subliminary messages put into our everyday life to influence the decisions we make. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, when something is subliminal, it exists below the threshold of consciousness. With this, the question stands, should subliminal messages be allowed in music, movies, television shows, and ads to influence our everyday decisions? What exactly is a subliminal message? Subliminal messages are made in direct result of the human subconscious, meaning that the conscious mind cannot pick up these messages, but the subconscious can. Everything the human body sees, hears, feels, smells, tastes, the brain will remember it. The brain stores all of this information, but the conscious mind only remembers a small part of it. By putting subliminal messages all around us in our everyday life, the subconscious is constantly picking up on these messages and stores them for the conscious mind to use at a later time. The purpose of these subliminal messages that are all around us are to make our subconscious make the connection with sex and our primitive instincts to get us to buy a product, listen to certain music, or watch a movie or TV show. The problem that has arisen with subliminal messages is that they are being used to persuade people to do things unknowingly. Since subliminal messages operate below the threshold of consciousness, we do not realize that these companies, musicians, and producers are getting us to buy their products, listen to their music, or watch their television shows. According to Egerman, Kopes, and Rutner, subliminal messages have even become common enough to affect the length of supermarket shoppers' or restaurant patrons' stay by the music that is played over the sound systems. Subliminal messages are a rising problem, and people need to become more informed about this issue. Music is one popular medium for people to hide subliminal messages. Many musicians either hide these messages in their songs, where it is hard for the conscious mind to pick up, or they hide the messages by putting them backwards in songs. If a person decides to play the song backwards, they will hear a clear message that could only have been picked up by the subconscious while they play the song normally. A lot of these messages are put into the songs to influence people to do certain things, such as partake in sexual activities or partake in violence, or to have the same beliefs as the musicians. One prime example of this is the famous song by Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. When played backwards, the song states, "Oh, here's to my sweet Satan." This is basically telling the audience to turn towards Satanism. Another popular medium for subliminal messages to be hidden in are in movies and television shows. Everybody watches movies and TV shows in their spare time. Producers incorporate hidden messages to influence the person watching the show to become more drawn into the movie or show so they will keep watching. The way producers do this is by connecting to every human being's primitive instinct of sex. If our subconscious picks up on something that deals with sex, our brain releases endorphins that make us want to engage in sexual activities. Since it is our primitive instinct to have sex and reproduce, we become very interested in the show or movie in hopes of being able to partake in intercourse. A good example of the word sex being hidden into a movie is in the movie The Lion King. In this movie, Mufasa falls down after making a loud roar. Because he falls, the dust is kicked up and the word sex is clearly visible in the dust. The most common form of subliminal messages are found in advertising. Advertisers purposefully incorporate hidden sexual messages into the ads they create to persuade people to buy their products. The reasoning behind advertisers using sexual references in their ads is the same as producers, in that they are trying to connect to the primitive and instincts of human beings. One example of these messages in advertising is in the ad by the Coca-Cola Company. With a first look at this ad, you would not notice anything suspicious. When you take a closer look, in one of the ice cubes, you will notice a female performing fellatio. When a person looks at the honey baked ham ad, he or she just sees a cooked ham sitting on a dining room table. The subconscious mind is able to make a connection between the ham and the vagina, making the person want to buy the company's honey baked ham. When the conscious mind sees these ads, they just see a Coke ad or a honey baked ham ad, but the subconscious mind notices these sexual innuendos and tells the rest of our body that you need the product to engage in sexual activities. These kind of messages should not be allowed because they incorporate inappropriate material for the general public to view or listen to. Many people feel as though they are being brainwashed, or that mind control is being used to persuade them to do things that they are unaware of. Moreover, people do not feel comfortable with these subliminal messages being all around them. With the people now aware of this problem, what could be done to stop the use of subliminal messages or to influence people? A proposed solution is to use the government agency, the Federal Communications Commissions, to specially filter out the unwanted subliminal messages. According to the FCC.gov, the main purpose of the FCC is to regulate interstate and international communications by radio, television, wire, satellite, and cable in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and U.S. territories. Since the FCC is already knowledgeable of what should and should not be inappropriate into the public communications, they should be able to filter out the unwanted materials that could be considered inappropriately persuasive. The FCC would have plenty of funding from tax dollars along with manpower and strength that comes along with being a government agency. A special department in the FCC filled with experts could be created along with special software that could also help out with this process. With the combination of experts and special software, subliminal messages should hopefully become less frequently used in society. People are clearly being susceptible to being persuaded below the threshold of consciousness. These persuasive factors, otherwise known as subliminal messages, are found all around us, and they need to be stopped. The Federal Communications Commission has the money and the power of a government agency to be able to produce the innocence from these messages that are found in music, ads, movies, and television shows. The government should be able to limit the freedoms of speech and religion to be able to protect people from the unwanted and possible harmful things that could come out of these hidden messages. With this, ask yourself, do you want to be controlled unknowingly to do things against your will?